Hello, everyone. We have a special guest today. This is Kelly Barr. He's been on the show before. He's a veteran. But if you've never seen him before, his name is Kelly. He's terrific. He's filling in today for Botan, who's having mouth surgery this week. So everyone keep Botan in your thoughts. But Kelly is an MVP. He knows exactly what he wants to say. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on, let's start with free agency. The Niners have made a bunch of moves. What do you think of their plan, and what do you think of what they've done so far?
As we were discussing right before the show, I see the Niners kind of sticking to the plan that, kind of like everybody expected,
Yeah.
They hadn't really done anything surprising yet. Like everybody knew Trent Williams was the big get. It's who they felt like they had to re-sign to make everything seem to work as far as their vision of what they'll be in 2021. Mm-hmm. And to kind of, I guess, redeem themselves from what happened in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that viewpoint, but as I've been looking at this offseason, as the season has progressed, what I really see is like this window that, we can't seem, it's kind of like, Johnny Depp's movie, Secret Window. Like, It's this Super Bowl window that we have, like, jades every move they make. Mm-hmm. Well, we can't really do a rookie quarterback but there's a window, and the veterans, they would get mad if you shut that window. Yep. And, well, we need to get a veteran guy who kind of knows Kyle's system because we're in this window. Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of aggravating as a fan because, like, how they got here was just work to me. Like, I didn't have the highest hopes for 2019 season. Yes. Like, Jimmy was coming off the ACL. I was kind of, I was kind of where you were, record-wise. Maybe 6-10, maybe 7-9 if everything worked well.
And the most optimistic projection was like 9-7 from certain journalists. No one really thought they'd be great.
No, and they just went out there, and every week they went out there and worked. Yep. And it was like after that season, it became, oh, well, we're this and we're that, and we'll show you. And it's a revenge tour. And, it's like they hadn't been able to get their grounding. I mean, like, I've been seeing a lot of, to me, slander on the timeline as far as Niners land, as far as Buckner goes. And I mean, like, we never get back to that leadership. Like, I mean, what was the difference between Buckner and Kittle? They both played their ass off. And they both wanted what they were worth as far as players. Yeah. But people slander Buckner like, oh, he wanted so much money, it was outrageous. I mean, I've seen people slamming, your coworker Jack Hammer about his opinion about Buckner leaving. Like, how can you not recognize what Buck did when he was here? Mm-hmm. Like, he's not a dependent position like Kittle. If Kittle doesn't have anybody to get him the ball, his value goes down tremendously. Not to mention who stayed healthy the whole time. Like, I mean, nobody recognizes that. And I mean, when you lose players like that, you lose something in the organization as a whole. Like, does Witherspoon do that against Miami with Buckner on the sideline? A guy who sweats blood, tears for the organization? Does he say, if you really, really need me, come get me. But otherwise, like, let that rookie, let him be burnt toast out there. Yeah. And then when he looks like crap, I'll feel like a hero and try to come to the rescue.
Right. That wouldn't fly with
Buckner. But we want to cry about him going to Seattle.
Right. And then you want to justify getting, we should have kept Akello, but Buckner, this is not our kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll give you another player. And like they never go after Kyle and John about this. And it's a problem I see. Okay. I think you brought it up the other day. Coleman starting in the Super Bowl. Yep. Like, after everything most of it already been with the Niners under Chip Kelly, and this guy who hadn't even played a whole season yet, you give him the start. Right. Like, as a trophy, because he's one of Kyle's guy, right?
That's right.
Okay, then we go into the offseason. You started 2019, you started Witherspoon. He was doing great. At one point, I thought he and Mosley were the best two corners, even though Sherman was completely healthy. Mm-hmm. So he gets hurt. Never really recovers after the injury, but you try to give him his job back. Yep. You can't quite get there. E-Man takes over. does a great job. If you want to point to the 3rd and 19 in the Super Bowl, fine. Beyond that, did a great job. What do you do come this COVID shortened season? You don't even get a man the respect of saying this is his job to lose.
Yep.
You act like it's a competition leading in, and then you wonder why Witherspoon didn't have a great year.
Yep.
Okay, you bring in Trent Williams to play left tackle. You had Brunskill, cheap, played left, played right, well.
Yeah.
Now what do you do with him? You jerk him around. Well, let me put you in guard. Well, I made a mistake at center and had an injury, so let me throw you there. Like, what do you expect from this man?
Yeah.
What I've never heard of an offensive lineman that plays every damn offensive line position.
Yeah.
But they tell you it's so hard to go from left to right tackle. But let's give this guy, he's a journeyman. So he can play any of them. He's not great.
He's played all 5 for the 49ers. He has played all 5 for the 49ers.
He has played all 5 positions. And we wonder why he didn't have a great year or like, and I mean, center seems like a big load to take on. So, I mean, I see the Niners kind of doing what they do. But as a fan, I hope they're right. But like we say, 3 out of 4 years, they haven't been as far as record.
Well, when I've had you on the show, we've frequently talked about the same topic, which is them basically running it back, like trying to keep together the team they had in 2019 as much as they can because they feel they have the winning formula. 2 things. They don't have the winning formula. And it's not the same team. Like they've lost Buckner. They're going to lose Tart now. They've lost Akello. They've lost Bourne. There's a lot of guys they don't have anymore. And they've tried to replace them. Alex Mack is an upgrade, I guess, if he's still good at 36. But otherwise, I mean, it doesn't seem to me like it's as good of a team as it was 2 years ago. And yet they think that from every indication, they think they're Super Bowl contenders.
Right. And like I was thinking about player development the other day. And it's like, if you look at like the great players, like I think the biggest hit to me for the front office and Lynch and the scouting department would probably be Warner. Like, I think that's the one guy, it wasn't high in the draft, but you found a guy and he is what you thought he was. But your other things, like, do you spend, like, did the linebacker from Tampa Bay, did we sign him pre-draft or after the draft?
Quan, they signed him pre-draft. Right when free agency hit,
So you really didn't, like, you didn't know what you were going to have in Greenlaw.
Right.
But, but even if you didn't, like, once you got into the season and you saw how good Greenlaw was, what do you do? Like, before the season's even out, you restructure Quan's deal to make it like you have to keep him a little bit longer. Like, when your genius Parag put into the deal to be able to get out of it after 1 year, like, they do that. It goes back to that Saturday night. Like, hello, like, I'm a Niners fan. I'm not a so-and-so's fan. Like, if it's good for the Niners, I'm happy with it. I'm not about all this family, like all this faithful to the Bay. Hello, like, I'm coming to you from Texas, never lived in another state. And I'm a diehard Niners fan. So all that, I'm not faithful to the Bay. I'm faithful to the 49ers who don't even play in the Bay anymore.
True.
So, like, we're on a FaceTime and we Kyle Juszczyk and it's family and these guys love Jimmy G and it's a wholesome environment. Well, you're not winning. How wholesome is it if you're not winning?
Yeah.
And just like the window we were talking about, where are all these players that want to play for Kyle? I'm still looking for them.
Yeah, it's
like
they're re-signing
Buffalo
their own
looks
guy.
like a desired destination, doesn't it? That's where Emmanuel Sanders decided to go to for a little money. So
the head coach isn't it? Yeah, the head coach is not a draw. It's do you have a quarterback or not? So let me ask you the next question. What are your thoughts on the 49ers most likely keeping Jimmy Garoppolo another year? I think the Niner fans got really excited the last few months, fantasizing about college guys and all kind of guys in the league, even Russell Wilson for a time. Yeah, it's probably going to be Jimmy. What do you think?
I really think it's going to be Jimmy. I just don't see how they make another move, this late in the game. And I mean, like you say, a Flacco, somebody. And I mean, if you worried, like we keep saying, if you worried that much about your backup, you're actually saying you're worried about your starter.
Right.
And beyond health, I believe. Like somebody was saying the other day, like if he was playing elite when he was on the field, we would be all for it, get a strong backup. But he's not playing elite even when he's on the field.
No,
he's playing serviceable. He's played well in a few games, and I'm not even going to deny that. Like, he has played well in some games, but he hasn't played consistently well. And he makes silly mistakes at times. You know, it seems like from a layman's viewpoint, it's like, what are you looking at there?
Yeah.
What do you see? Like, where is his improvement? Where is, where did CJ really improve? What offensive linemen have really improved? The offensive linemen that got better were the ones we traded for, right? Like Lincoln Tomlinson, got better. Like, McGlinchey has regressed. Yeah, he hasn't gotten better.
Brunskill hasn't had an opportunity to get better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, they really need to look in the mirror. And it's like, last year we were giving Saleh all these props about how well he did as a D coordinator and the things he did. Now he's gone and it's irrelevant. Like, the defense is still going to be great, even though the leader of the defense is gone. Like, which is it? Was he the leader of the defense and now we're missing our leader, or was he never that guy to begin with?
Right.
You kind of can't have it both ways.
Right. All these Niner fans that were praising him all year, now it's like, well, it's no problem. The defense is going to be great.
Problem.
No problem.
I think the linebacker coach would be great. I was never a huge Saleh fan, but I know you can't have it both ways. Either he really mattered or he didn't.
Really? Yeah, I mean, like when the Niners spent all this money on Trent Williams, it's like, wow. It's okay. So you're spending quarterback money on a left tackle, making him the highest paid left tackle offensive lineman ever.
Right.
To protect Jimmy? You really think
Jimmy?
You really think you guys are going somewhere, huh? Okay. I mean, I guess they felt like, no one believed in us in 2019. Why can't we do it again in 2021? I don't know. I guess Kyle's a very confident person. All the confidence in the world doesn't make Jimmy something that he's not.
But see, even like you're saying, even in 2019, we weren't saying like, oh, this is the Cowboys O-line. Like, this is a massive. And I mean, like, look what we said again. Like, look at his father. Look what he's trying to, like, he never put a whole lot of money into that O-line of his. Like, he just had a great coach and he kept cycling guys through. Like you said, maybe one center or something like that. The whole thing with the zone read was just having the consistency of linemen, so they would get used to each other and know how to move and flow with that run style. It really wasn't about having elite guys at 5 positions.
No, they were all 5th, 6th round picks, and you're right. They had an elite coach, Alex Gibbs. It's too bad Kyle doesn't have him, because he does have his dad's running backs coach, who's great. But if Gibbs is retired, he's the one who invented the outside zone scheme.
The hogs running in front of Riggins.
Well, we'll see if the new dude, what's the new dude? Chris Forrester is an upgrade.
Right. He's got a little bit of a history, so let's hope.
He does have a history, but before he almost ruined his own life, he was making, I think, $1 million a year, which is very high for a position coach. So I think he was considered one of the top dudes in his field. I don't know if that was warranted, but I don't know. We'll see. I get the feeling that if he hadn't have done what he did, we don't need to repeat it. He would have been the offensive line coach, and that the Niners were kind of like working him in slowly because they had to do it because of what he did. So we'll see.
Right.
If he's the real deal, and then the offensive line is good, that could have like a real positive domino effect on the team. But
that's kind of chicken or the egg. Like, if they invest high first rounder in the line, then you got Trent, high, elite. You have Lincoln Tomlinson, former first round pick, McGlinchey, former first round pick. So it's kind of like the D line that year. Like, you could end up investing so much talent. Like, if they're not good, we have a problem.
That's right. Okay, so I think we basically agree that the Niners see themselves in win now mode, and basically see Jimmy as the best option because of his record, I guess. But
safest.
The easiest thing to sell to their fan base.
To sell, yes.
Yeah, to sell.
Without blowback too much from one side or the other.
Not the best move, but the path of least resistance.
Yes,
the path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance.
But there's a report yesterday that they're still interested in Deshaun Watson, which makes sense because no one would criticize them for adding a top 5 quarterback. And we still don't know if any of this stuff with Watson is true. I mean, it's all been funneled through one attorney. None of it. There are 0 criminal charges. It looks bad, but at the same time, we don't know anything about this. So what do you think? What do you think about this report that the Niners are still interested, at least, in why, along with about 5 other teams?
I think they should still be interested. If anything, this could be considered help the Niners because, I mean, not that I wish this on him, but it does lower the asking price. Like with something like this hanging over him, the NFL saying they're going to have a look, you know, to see what's going on. Like that's got to lower your value somewhat, which considering our assets we have to give up to get him, that would be a benefit. Now,
right, because even if the case is thrown out, then there's still a cloud hanging over him, and people have their own opinion.
It's kind of like they say, you know, a lie is halfway around the world before the truth gets out of bed. So there's no way for him to really get back. All he can do is show by his actions, and that's what I look at. Like, okay, look at Deshaun Watson. Look at the man he has shown himself to be since he's been in the spotlight. Like, I mean,
a very long time.
Okay, he's been the Texans franchise quarterback. Hello, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was on an elite program in college. So there have been eyes on him for a long time. And now
he's been famous since 2015, I want to say, since he was like,
and we've never heard anything negative about this man until he was trying to push his way out of the Texans organization.
The timing is just so suspicious.
The timing is like, if you don't ask questions about it, it's got nothing to do with Me Too. It's got nothing to do with disrespecting women or thinking it's okay to disrespect women.
No.
It's just saying the timing is awfully weird that once they finally realized that they had to trade him, then all this stuff comes out. Like you said, through one lawyer.
And there's no
one attorney. Why would these women just keep going to this one attorney?
Because he's the only one foolish enough to take the case. It's you got to stay open-minded here. You have to.
You got to. You have to. Now, I'm not going to say what he did or didn't do, but I'm just saying the timing of it doesn't make me say, you know what, I think this guy probably did it and I'm off of it.
That's fair.
You know, we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this country anyway. Right. And like you said, none of this is even criminal. All of this is civil.
Right now, the attorney, I think, is bringing this in front of a grand jury of the Houston Police Department, and they could decide whether to make it criminal charges, whether to throw it out entirely. We're going to find out. And it just makes sense for teams to like not make any rash decisions. Don't trade for him now, and don't do the opposite. Don't take yourself out of it, because one way or another, you're acting like you know what happened, and you don't. No one knows. If you trade for him now, you act like you don't care to find out. And if you wait, it's just, you know, doing your due diligence, as you said.
I think right now, I think the best option to keep the win now mode going would be about 24, 25 million invested in Jimmy. Like, I think you should just like go. If you think your team is that good, your window is right there. Why don't you push all your chips to the middle and get your rookie and have the best of both worlds? Have your rookie and have Jimmy. What are you paying? Like 35 million for your quarterback room? So then you have the best. You're grooming a guy. You say your offense is so complicated that nobody's going to get it year one anyway, even a veteran like Matt Ryan or Jimmy Garoppolo. So, okay, you got the rookie learning. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't have the best person in front of him, but you're coaching him. So you're not worried about him just following what Jimmy does. He knows Jimmy's not long for this organization anyway. So you're bringing that rookie along. That also means you have a very serviceable backup just in case Jimmy goes down. Now, Jimmy doesn't go down. The rookie's ready before the season's over with. Okay, rookie, he is a commodity then. Now, not only do you have like teams now that are thirsty for a quarterback, by the end you have injuries. You had like last year the Cowboys. Dak went down. You have Washington. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't think we were going to be this good. Imagine if we had a quarterback. So then you have other teams that you can use the Jimmy asset to gain other assets for the future. So then you bring in your rookie, you trade Jimmy because the locker room doesn't break up. Why? The locker room's been seeing the rookie out there working. They know what the rookie is capable of. So they know you're not just getting rid of Jimmy to go to some suspect plan. So I honestly think like they should just go all out, go get your Wilson, go get whoever it is you think besides Lawrence, who's probably number one. Go get your guy and go and show people what you really are.
Okay, well, that segues perfectly to my next question. Okay, you made it clear. You want the 49ers to go get their quarterback in the draft. Do you think they will, though? Do you think they will draft a quarterback in round one? Keep in mind, we've just been saying they're in win now mode. They've signed a lot of guys in their 30s. They're saying they still want Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think they would turn this team over to a rookie or spend a first round pick on a guy who wouldn't contribute to this win now effort?
I don't think they will, because it's kind of like we say, it's CYA with a lot of the moves they make. Yep. You know, we want to do it. We want to be bold, but then we don't want to be too bold. We don't want you to question too much what we do.
Right.
So let's do just enough to feel like we're going where we want to go, but to keep the media from asking too many questions, you know.
Right.
Like a lot of this stuff, people like, oh, well, they're so tight-lipped. Like a lot of this is still PR. Like the whole Lynch wanting to work together, like that was about how bad the bulky Harbaugh era was. Like it's all makeup at the end of the day. Like instead of just doing what's right, they're trying to do what people think is right.
Right.
You know,
again, the path of least resistance. Yep.
Yeah.
And if you take the quarterback in round one, you open yourself up to, oh, so you were wrong about Jimmy then, and you admit it.
Right. So why is Jimmy still on the team?
Yeah. What's going on there?
Why are you paying a guy in round that you don't want?
It's like, oh, well, that's okay. Well, he could be a backup then.
Right. So see, that's why I feel like they like our idea, but I think what they'll do is like go later. And maybe not your guy Mod, but I think it'll be like second, third, kind of better type of deal. Like, well, we got a guy, but you don't have to think of him as the backup of the future, because look where we picked him. But at the same time, in their mind, like, you know, I think this guy might could be our answer. But you know, it's like you're saying, like
Kyle drafted Kirk Cousins right at that spot, right around 100.
Right.
So he has
and you can get a lot of talent. Russell Wilson, wasn't he like a third rounder?
Yes.
Like, you know, Dak, I think, was a third rounder, or maybe later.
Early fourth. So like in the early hundreds.
You can't find it there. But like nobody goes in with the hope that guy is the guy. Like, you know, Romo was the guy. Like Dak was like, oh, this is a quality guy who played in the SEC. You know, nobody picked him yet. Like, let's bring him in. And it just he was put on the right team.
That's right.
You know, so it worked.
But he wasn't drafted with the
expectation their best bet is to groom a guy.
Yeah, I think they gotta groom a guy. If they don't draft a guy this year, you're thinking, what are you thinking? Or do you really like Josh Rosen? Real quick, do you think the Niners have any attachment to Josh Rosen? Or I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think so. Not at all. Not at all. Why would you? He hasn't shown anybody much. He's just kind of moving around the league to the next place that wants to look at him. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind him being on the roster as kind of, you know, a third guy, just to see what he's got. I would have preferred them actually like to put him on the field to like let the fan base get a look at him to even see. But like they like to hide things. Like it's like E-Man. You kept E-Man, but at the end of the year, like Crocker been saying, like you had him on the bench when he could have been in there playing. Like why? But he was on special teams, so you wasn't trying to protect him from injury. But you weren't playing him. But he's one of your first free agents you re-signed.
How do you explain that? I don't even.
I don't. Like I say, I think E-Man can play. Like, you know, the games, like he wasn't really getting burnt. Like people were making catches, but I don't feel like he was just getting toasted all year long. Like every time you look up, like, I mean, he's a gamer to me, you know, especially considering where he came from.
I think
undrafted free agents.
The only times I see him get beat are when he sort of like gets physically overmatched by big wide receivers at the catch point.
Yeah.
That's about it. He's usually right there, but sometimes he can look a little small, even though he's bigger.
He looked a little overmatched, like you're saying, physicality wise. And I mean, it would take years, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, like, why not have, like, it's his job. Let him be out there every down in training camp. Let him know, hey, you're the guy. Yeah. But they just kept kind of jerking it. Well, we're not sure. Weatherspoon, Mosley, we still got Verrett coming along. Like, we're just not sure. And, you know, that's got to mess with his confidence a little bit. Like, I felt like I took this man's job last year, and y'all saying it's still somewhat his. It's just like the slot guy. Every year it's like Trent Taylor is still a thing. Finally, it might be over. But every year the slot guy had to have in the back of his mind, well, they actually want Trent in here.
Yeah.
So but they actually drafted Witherspoon.
So what do they think
they don't
of
really
me?
want you, man.
Yeah, what do they think of me if they think Trent Taylor's better? Trent Taylor's terrible. So what do they think
what
of
are
me?
They seeing? Like what is Richie James looking at on the sideline? He's like, it's like we're bad about Bourne being gone. Okay, and I know we've had plenty of injuries. Did Bourne ever put up numbers like James did in that Green Bay game?
No.
No, because he's not that type of guy.
No.
I don't care what the Patriots paid him. He's not that guy. James could be that guy. I think Richie James could be a heck of a player. But what do? You jerk him around.
Richie James is a hell of a player. That's another one that we don't really talk about. I mean,
that's somebody, if he left, I would okay. Like when we face him, I think he is going to light our asses up for all the, past indiscretions he felt we put upon him.
When Niners quarterbacks targeted him last year, they were 23 of 35, and their quarterback rating was 113. I mean, you think he gets some more targets?
His yards per catch, career-wise, are like 15, 16 yards a catch? It's crazy.
Hold on. It's 18.
18 yards a catch. 18. And the guy can't get on the field.
Can't get on the field. Maybe next year. We gotta put pressure on. They won't do it unless we tell them. All right, last question.
I think you need to start a campaign like you did with Juice. He got a few extra carries.
Because here's what's going to happen.
It's working, man. They listening.
Here's what's going to happen. The Niners are going to draft some wide receiver in round 2 because Kyle Shanahan can't help himself. He just can't help himself.
Right.
And that's too bad because they don't need to. They got Richie James. They don't need to.
Right. Now we got to waste that pick on another one.
Yeah, on the next Dante Pettis. All right. So when we go on the show together, we often air out our grievances.
Right.
But you're a fan of this team. I'm not. I'm pessimistic for a living. You root for this team. So let me ask you, what gives you optimism? What keeps you going with this?
What keeps me going? Well, I'm a little older than you. I can admit that. Black doesn't crack, but I got some years on you.
All right.
So
I
come from an era, just a little. If I get rid of that, they might card me if I wanted some cigarettes. But I come from an era where you're just loyal to your team, kind of no matter what happens. Now, what gives me a little bit of faith is that I guess at least we don't stand stagnant. Jed has made plenty of mistakes as far as, what he's done. But I will give him credit for never just sitting on the mistake and being Tom Sula, let me give him 3 more years because 1 was too much, at least he's willing to move on, even if it costs a little bit, as far as nothing against the salary cap, but just money out of their pocket. They aren't stagnant, and they have gone for it. Harbaugh was going for it. Harbaugh, that was a competition. That was Miami or San Francisco, and both of us wanted him bad, and we were able to get him. So I think it's just the prestige. It's just so much there. We see the fandom, you see how the fandom rolls once the win is started again. It's out there, it's all over the country. And I mean, I don't find it much better to be than a 49ers fan. Now, I think I would take where we are as opposed to the Cowboys, because that's a lot of losing and never being close, but
that's a very big fan base too.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, until Kaepernick and that squad, we had never known loss in the final game. If we got to the Super Bowl, we won the Super. That was part of that hurt as much as losing. Losing that. We were the only team, people don't know, we were the only team that were perfect in the Super Bowl. Other teams that lost 1 or 2, something. We would have 5, and we were 5 for 5, like Jordan almost. I was looking for that 6 times 6 rings. And I mean, that hurt a little bit. So the fact that we have done those things, the fact that we've been buried and come back, I guess that's what gives me hope for the future, is that we just don't quit. We're not going to just be okay with mediocrity.
But a big part of the reason you're a 49ers fan is that you love the 49ers fan base as much as you love the 49ers franchise.
Definitely.
That makes sense. Because, I mean, how many fan bases in the NFL really have one as deep and as global and worldwide as the Niners? How many?
Right.
Like Dallas, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe two or three? Maybe 2 or 3.
And without the national, like, we don't have anybody really to boost us. I mean, yeah, it's West Coast, but like there's nothing out there, there's no celebrity endorsements really. It's just a fan base. It's just, I guess maybe the generation when they were good, like, left an imprint on. And I think we were almost the white hats. Like, I think the Cowboys were kind of like the Dark Knight and the Niners were the white hats. Like, and we would come, to save the league from the purge of Cowboys Nation. Yeah. And I mean, the house, I'm living in Texas, so I have to deal with all of it, all the Cowboys fandom. And that's what I tell people. I never complain about all your streams, your videos. Like, I mean, there was a desert of Niners news. Like, people wouldn't even do a Niners thing 5 days a week because there wasn't enough news for it as far as they was concerned. Like, I'm over listening to the Cowboys talk about the third string guy and how he wears his socks. And like, there's no Niners news. I'm just like, where can I get a Niners?
Is that saturated over in Dallas, over in Texas? Cowboys. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's the Cowboys, like, they're big, like, and their media, like, their tentacles, like, they have like 3 of their own podcasts, like, Dallas Cowboys. That's not even talking about people not affiliated.
Interesting. Okay. Hey, we got a question.
Jerry is pervasive, I should say, as far as Texas goes. He's got his tentacles everywhere.
Yeah. This is from the resident Rams fan here. Shanahan is supposed to be an offensive genius, yet he can't win without Gimpy G. Did he rise Salah's D coattails to the Super Bowl? Is Kyle in the hot seat right now? This is from a Rams fan. What do you think?
Right. Kyle isn't on any hot seat. Like, no. I can't see after redoing his deal that his seat is even warm at the moment. Like, now, if he were to have 2 more bad seasons, I could see, like, there being some real pressure put upon him. But as I think we've discussed, like, I think it would, honestly, Lynch would be the first, like, kind of scapegoat. Like, we need to make a change. And then if things didn't get better, I think the next move would be possibly look at Kyle Shanahan. But
I think part of the reason that they're in this win now mode is because Jed wants them to be. I think that he bought the thing out the injuries and he thinks they're still good. And I don't think I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I don't think he's really ready for a rebuild. I think he wants them to win. And so the Niners are giving their best effort. And if they don't win next year, as you mentioned earlier, Jed will make moves. He doesn't.
He will.
He's kind of impatient, and you could like it. I mean, he didn't waste any time with Tom Sula or Chip Kelly, to his credit.
Right.
Just because he gave Kyle Shanahan an extension doesn't mean that he could get impatient. He throws money around with coaches.
Right.
I don't know.
That could have been all about appearances.
Yes.
And that's why I say 2 years isn't very long. Like, you're talking about next year and 2022, and like, look, like, this is it for you. Like, you don't do it. And I mean, like, we got to move on. We got to find somebody to get us over the top. So, I see his point of view, but at the same time, like, say, like, it's the record, like, like, I think what people don't realize is the Shanna fan segment is much greater than the Jimmy G stands. Like, people think, oh, Jimmy, like, nah, they stand Kyle a lot more. I don't know how many times I've seen that clip from Cleveland when he kind of looked down, what do you want to run? It's like cocky Kyle, like,
do I have to run the ball?
Like,
that attitude is going to cost you 2 Super Bowls, Kyle. 2. That attitude right there. Do I have to run the ball?
That attitude, but we can't talk about that. We can't talk about Kyle's cockiness. Like, what is he, like, in his early 40s? And I'm not going to be on social media. Well, at some point, either you're a very weird kid, or at some point you were on social media and you just got off. Because it makes no sense that you don't have any social media presence. Like, what are you hiding? Belichick makes sense. Belichick's an old cat. Like, of course, he doesn't know what snap face and whatchamacallit chatter about. But Kyle, you're supposed to be young and hip. You wearing J's. You ain't got no Snapchat. You ain't got no Twitter handle. Like, you ain't got no cool Twitter handle. You got a tattoo of Chris Seals, but you don't have a Twitter.
What was the first thing Robert Saleh did when he got hired by the Jets? What was the first thing Saleh did when he got hired by the Jets? Started a Twitter.
Probably got a social media. good way to stay in touch with players and to keep up with what's going on in their life.
Yep.
You ain't got to follow anybody. Just check with Eric Davis. Like, he doesn't follow anybody.
That's true. He doesn't follow anybody. That's good. I love Eric Davis.
Right? You don't have to get any alerts or anything. Just to at least be there when you want to. But like you said, I think you kind of think he goes through his wife or his kids, maybe.
I'm sure he's got one.
I'm sure he's circumventing the process somehow.
The coaches that say that they're not on social media, I don't buy it. They're looking at their players. Yeah, I don't. Nah.
So I don't buy the hot seat, but I think the seat is getting warmer. Let's say that. And who could really put pressure on him is, like, say, a Rams fan. Yeah. The Rams and their moves could put pressure on Kyle.
Yep.
Arizona, if what they're trying to do works out, even though I know nobody has faith in Cliff Kingsbury, and why would you? But if what they are doing works out and you become third in the division again, like Jed's not going to appreciate that.
Exactly. And the way I look at it is the Niners are they're signing a bunch of guys in their 30s. Are they doing that because they want to do that? Or are they doing that because they feel they got to do that? Like if they don't make a significant run this year, not that they'll all get fired, but they'll all be placed on the hot seat. It seems to me that before 2019, they made a bunch of win now moves. And I was wondering if they were on the hot seat at that point because they were coming off 2 losing seasons. Now they're making a bunch of win now moves again. They used to be the brick by brick team. Now all of a sudden it's like we need every 30-year-old free agent available. I wonder if there's been either if it's nonverbal or verbal from Jed, like, hey guys, I buy, last year was tough, injuries, pandemic. You better win this year, or else my opinion could change of what's going on here. I don't know. That's my suspicion.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad assumption. The only thing is like the win now moves they made before cost money, so you can feel it more. Like Mac doesn't really cost you a lot of money. Like the safety from Indianapolis, nobody knows. Like this kid from the Rams,
it's really just Trent Williams. That's big
outside linebacker to edge rusher. These are they're older moves, but I think it's more, and that's what I don't understand. Like if you're wanted, if you're a desirable place, like where are those guys? Like this guy's out here signing 1-year deals. So where is a slot corner that just wants a 1-year deal? That's good. You know what I'm saying? Like where are these
Alex Mack came because he knows Kyle.
Well, let me do 1 year and then let me, enter free agency again. Like I don't see any of those players coming to us. But everybody says the Niners are desired. Besides Deshaun Watson making us one of the 2 on his list, I don't see it. And like you said, I think a lot of it does have to do with the quarterback. Like wasn't it the quarterback that Sherman said made him want to come to the Niners?
That's right.
Like, Jimmy G was there and I see what they're building. Like, I mean, if you can see, they can say whatever they wanted to. Like even Juszczyk brought up, hey, well, you could throw the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship game because you're running the ball so well. No, that is not what happened. You do not throw the ball 8 times just because you're running so well. It's been plenty of teams. Derrick Henry's teams have been running over people. He's gone for 200 yards or something. They still threw the ball more than 8 times because that's not what you do. Even if you just keeping the defense off balance. You did it because you could. And you did not trust your quarterback.
Yes.
See, they can't be completely honest, which is what I think leads us down these dark tunnels. If they could just be honest with themselves and with us, this stuff wouldn't be happening. Like this year, what are they doing? Oh, every time. Has Mac been real healthy? No. What they say about the kid from the Rams? Hadn't missed a snap. Hadn't missed a game. See, so really in your signings, you're admitting that you made a lot of mistakes with injuries, but you won't say that. You won't say Cohn was a mistake coming off the ACL. You won't say Richburg had injury history with the Giants before he came to us. You won't say you signed Kittle to this long-term deal and he's maybe had 1 injury-free season.
Yep.
You don't say the reason the Chiefs wanted to move on from Ford was because of his injuries, and you traded for him and then signed him to a big long-term deal.
As if that was bogus and the Chiefs didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
Amazing.
Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs. What do they know?
What are they?
They've only spent 5 years with him. Dude says, if McVay is so much better than Kyle, why has McVay lost 4 in a row to Shanahan? It's almost like Kyle taught him everything he knows.
I've never understood this logic. I mean, like the Rams have been in the playoffs all but 1 year. Like, I'm not gonna ride their coattails, but I'm not gonna slander them either. Yeah. Like, they go for it. They're true to what they believe. Like, they told you they didn't really care for Goff, and he's gone. Like, I know it's hard, but I kind of respect what the Eagles have done. I kind of respect what the Rams have done. The Rams did. Like, yes, it's a big hit on your cap, but it's like you don't keep laying down with a lady that you don't want to be with long term. Like, what are you doing? Like, you just spinning your circles. Like, you don't really think y'all are going anywhere together, but like, let's keep this thing going another year. No, move on. Take the hit. It might hurt a little bit, but get it out the way. Get it out your system so that hopefully you can grow in the future.
Agree.
And I want the longevity. Like, I'm with the brick by brick. Like, build something that lasts. I don't want the 3 years a good team and then go away. 3 years a good team and go away. I want every year the Niners are in it. The Niners are a problem. Every year you're looking to see what they're doing. When do we play them? Like, is it at our house or their house? Like the Saints were for so many years. But this all goes back to name a team that was feared for over a decade that didn't have a quarterback that you feared as well. They go hand in hand.
He can't even stay on the field. No, they got it. They got to get a quarterback and start over. But everything they're doing is saying that
the quarterback. People are like, we're tired of talking about quarterback. Well, yeah, but the NFL has designed this thing to where it's hard to field a team without that. So you can have all the good pieces you want. But, like, look at that Tampa Bay team that was loaded. Like, Brad Johnson only got 1 Super Bowl out of that team.
Right.
Like, because you need somebody that's better. You need somebody to elevate the rest of your players. Where the offense, where to make the whole line a little better.
They're trying to elevate Jimmy.
They're trying to elevate Jimmy with the players around him. They have a nucleus now that they didn't have in the beginning, but they don't have a guy to get them the ball. And so Jimmy was at his best when we didn't have anybody.
They're going to be spending like $60 million over the next 3 years for Trent Williams, and it's like, why? I mean, nothing against Trent Williams, but like, who do you think you are? Why does this move make a difference for you? I mean, if it does, I'll be impressed. But I just feel like the Niners don't have the quarterback to justify that investment. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, left tackle is important, but I mean, we keep saying like passing isn't even the most integral part of Kyle's offense. Like, it's the run game, and yes, he's good at the run game, but McGlinchey shows you like you don't have to be elite lineman to be good at the run.
Right?
Like running game blocking kind of feels like rebounding in basketball to me. Like, it's about effort. It's about wanting to go out and hit that guy in the mouth. So I feel like you could have found a guy. Like, Staley was never like the best left tackle in the game, and he was serviceable. You say, like you love to say about Jimmy, he got you to a Super Bowl, and it didn't cost you that kind of money. Like, I don't feel like it takes away the cheapness either. Like, like Jed and them are cheap for other reasons beyond like one contract. It's bigger than one contract. Right. And if you've been a Niners fan or been covering them, you've seen the cheapness open itself up from time to time.
Like with Trent Williams, I mean, the Niners were bidding against the Chiefs. I don't really think any team should be spending that much money on a 33-year-old left tackle, but for the Chiefs to go for it, you kind of get it. Like, they were in the Super Bowl the last 2 years. They lost this year because they couldn't block anyone. So from their mind, in their minds, it's like, well, maybe Trent Williams could be the difference.
Could make the difference.
Yeah, but from the Niners, it's like, okay, you got Trent Williams back. Like,
now what?
Now what? What is the upside? I don't know. But we'll see.
Elite left tackle on what?
Kyle is just very, very confident, and he feels he's got the winning formula, and we'll just see. I don't know. I'm not sure he ever had it.
It's just, like you're saying, where does that confidence stem from?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yes, I understand you are a good play caller. Like, I've always felt like it's just he wants too much control. He has too tight a grip. And I think that's where like the time management goes, because when the offense is out there, he's only focused on the play, not the time in the game, not the yardage, not field goal range, or any of that. But it's like he doesn't want to let anybody have, more control. Like have an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
like you can still
finally
play,
got
you
one.
can still be the play caller.
Yeah,
but have a guy that does that. And I mean, maybe McDaniels and them did that, and we just, they just didn't say it. But
well, maybe,
as far as it just seems like it's too much on his plate a lot of times.
Yeah, he's not a great delegator, but his dad was the same.
No, he's not.
No.
And I think that is a key asset that people lose in leadership. If you can't delegate, like unless you're the Flash and can be everywhere at once, like you're not going to do a very good job long term because it's just too much going on. You have to learn to empower other people.
And what you learn in the NFL is all these jobs are 24/7 jobs, all of them. Right. Because there's so much on the line. So if you try to do 4 of them yourself, you just do a mediocre to bad job at all 4. Not that he's doing a mediocre to bad job, but that's the reason why people delegate. Right there.
Right. Why does special teams get away with the crap they do? Because the head coach is focused on the offense. Right. He's not focused on special teams. But that could be a win. But if you're just a head coach, you understand, like, it's probably a couple of games we could have won just based on special teams. Just based on finding a guy to do kick return, punt return consistently well.
Or because to me, special teams has been a subpar. A disaster.
Subpar.
And they always say, like, if you can win 2 of the 3 phases in a game, you win the game. Well, the Niners are consistently losing special teams. That puts you in a tough spot.
Right. And the defense, at best, holds the team or keeps them from scoring. They don't take the ball away. So even a part of the defense winning is not like winning like you want to take the ball away from the other guy.
Yeah, special teams is all you can get points from the field goal. You can get hidden yards, hidden first downs with returns, and the Niners just do.
It's like they just throw it away. It's like Kyle. Yeah. I think you might even say it. It's like Kyle is just like, just give me the ball. I don't care if it's at the 5-yard line, at the 10, at the 1. Just give me the ball and my offense. Again, that hubris. Like, we'll take care of the rest. Just give me the ball.
You want those hidden yards and hidden first down. It makes your job easier, Kyle, but he's so great he doesn't need it. Real quick, Jeremy says, cut or trade Jimmy, sign Mariota, draft a rookie. What are your feelings on Mariota?
I really wanted us to get Mariota when he became free. Or did they trade Mariota from Tennessee?
No, I forget.
Was he? I want to say he got traded. I want to say he wasn't free.
Okay.
I want to say maybe it was the end of his rookie deal, and they traded him to the Raiders. But I liked Mariota, and I felt like he could be a project, as far as somebody to really bring along in Kyle's system with his mobility, with the play action boot,
free agent. He was just a free agent. He signed a 2-year deal worth $17.6 million with the Raiders, and they cut him. So he was around. The thing that's interesting about Mariota, remember 2016 when Chip Kelly became the head coach? Weren't there rumors that he wanted to trade like everything for Marcus Mariota? He was going to trade.
I didn't really hear those rumors.
I thought there were that he was maybe they weren't legit rumors. It was just speculation, but that he wanted to trade 2-3 first-round picks for Mariota. Would they have had to? No, because he had gotten drafted in 2015. Yeah, but he was still looked at as a good player back then.
Yeah, he was. Like coming out of college, he looked like he had some game to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't mind a guy like that. Mariota, I didn't really like I've heard the Minshew name mentioned. I don't mind that so much. I think Kyle kind of likes that guy that he feels like he can kind of build up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like prop up.
Yeah.
But like you say, run the offense, run the plays I call, do what I want him to do. But at the end of the day, like I'm gonna get all the credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you look better than you are. People are gonna be impressed by how well you play, Mr. Brian Hoyer. Yeah, good call. Good call. He only went to Matt Ryan when his career was on the line. I mean, he didn't have. I remember Kyle was
implement the offense though, like Brian Hoyer, the journeyman.
Like, Kyle's stock was really low until he did some work with Matt Ryan.
He had already been back to New England at that point, hadn't he?
I mean, yeah.
I'll never understand why he didn't at least try with Kaepernick. Like wait a minute, this guy's athletic. Like, I like to run a lot of play action. Like, let me at least give it a run and see what it's about.
I always felt Kaepernick
I think that's
was
one
so
of those we didn't want to say it, but Yeah, I think Jed didn't want the whole Black Lives Movement type thing, but he couldn't say it because he's on the West Coast. So they always had to look like they were accommodating Kaepernick.
Here's the thing.
In the back of their mind, like as soon as we can get this out of our hair, like stiff arm, it's gone.
Here's how you'll know. If the Niners draft a quarterback this year like Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Kellen Mond, be like, well, then how did Colin not fit your team, but this guy does? That's how you'll know. That's how you'll know.
Well, they'll say Kyle changed. You know, remember Kyle didn't really want to run in quarterback early on.
Yeah,
Kyle didn't want the pressure, like of having once you draft your guy, it's your guy. You got to make it work with him. Like what is Nagy's hanging on by a thread due to Trubisky. I think this is probably his last year. If he doesn't,
they should have got rid of him already. God, I can't stand.
True.
That's when you said that Jed York at least acts. I immediately thought of the Bears. Like, yeah, like unlike them, they've just been. I don't know what they're doing in Chicago. They just signed Andy Dalton. Great, that'll fix everything.
Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, people.
Good time to be a Bears fan. James Capp says if we can't get Watson or draft a quarterback with the 12th pick, what do you think about Desmond Ridder in the 3rd or 4th round? He went back to school. You got to wait a year for Desmond Ridder at Cincinnati. He went back to school.
What I do find funny is like people keep telling us like, when is the next time the Niners will be in this position to draft a person like this high? Well, okay, like we got the 12th pick this year. We had the 13th pick last year due to the Buckner trade. Year before that, what was it, number 2?
Yeah.
Year before that, McClinchy, he was 9. He was like 12, 13.
He was 9.
And the year before that, number 2.
3. Yeah, 2.
Trade back. Yeah. Yes, trade back. So, like, I mean, like, if he passed his prologue, like, we'll be here again, like, picking high to draft.
If you look at it, the Niners
a weaker quarterback class next year.
That's right.
Now we really have to move on from Jim.
The Niners have finished last in the NFC West like 6 of the last 8 years. So, yeah. But there's still reasons to be optimistic.
All or nothing with us.
Pretty much.
Like, either we're at the cusp of a championship or we're in the bottom. And then it's not going to matter next year that we had like a last place record. Like, so if we do better, like that has nothing to do with it. Like after the Bosa year, that was a last place schedule too. And we did well. Like you have to take all these things into consideration. So maybe that's where the hope is. We're playing a last place schedule. And the last time we did that, we went to the Super Bowl. Right.
That makes sense. That's a really good point. Actually, even in 2019, it was a 3rd place schedule because the Cardinals were 3-13 that year as well. So this is theoretically an easier schedule than it was in 2019.
Oh yeah, you are right because they had the first pick. And we
had Rosen over there. They were 3-13. Yeah, they were really, really bad.
Now that I think about it, like people are saying, like I'm not a fan. Like I can't root, like they say, for the loss, but I can understand the value in a loss in a lost season. Yeah. And this year, like it probably cost us an easy grab of a top 3 or 4 quarterback, a few extra wins.
That's right.
What was it? The year that we could have got Myles Garrett, like a couple of wins late in that year, like we would have had the top pick over Cleveland. You know, it's like it's been a few times in our recent history that like having pride in self and going out there trying to win every game has ended up biting us in the ass in the long run.
That's true. That's true. And I wonder again if that pressure comes from the top.
Yeah, you can't tell a player to go out here and not, go out here and lose. Like you don't do that.
No, you can't.
So it is what it is. Yeah. We'll take those lumps, but yeah, I think the best plan of action is to go get your quarterback and let the chips fall where they may afterwards. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just spinning your wheels.
You're just not being bold at all. You got to make a move. No. You got to just make a decision and do it and stand behind it. And we'll see what happens. Kelly, hey, great job as always. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. This was a hell of a show.
No problem at all, Grant. My pleasure again.
Let's do it again
Have
soon.
a good afternoon.
Same to you. Thanks for watching.